Starting to wonder if maybe I just didn't get a lot of sleep the day I was able to watch this the first time, as, well, I thought it was a lot better than I remember it. But that could also be leading to a lot of different things as well. Gotta say, this one has to have the most interesting opening of this Digimon Tri series so far. It starts off like a silent movie. You get the nice little crackling pops of old film, the only sound we get is music, and when people are talking, you just get plain text on the screen. We see a pair of Digidestined taking on the Dark Masters, but not any Digidestined, Mr. Nishijima and Mrs. Okidera. With the last remaining life force of Mrs. Okidera's Digimon, Magidramon, as well as the attacks of all the sovereign Digimon, the Dark Masters are defeated. In the digital world, the Digidestined reunite with their Digimon partners, except for Sora and Yokumon. Yokumon wants nothing to do with her, but still sticks around with her friends. After a great meal prepared by Sora, they end up digivolving to the rookie level. In the real world, Mr. Nishijima is trying to figure out where Mrs. Okidera went to. He guesses the password to her encrypted files and does some digging. While doing so, he flashes back to when they were younger. It appears she's been attempting this reboot for a long time as a way to try to get her old Digimon back. When Mr. Nishijima comes back, Hackmon appears. This Digimon has been teased throughout this movie series so far, so it's fantastic to finally put a name to this face. Hackmon gives Mr. Nishijima a message. Turns out Genai has been corrupted by King Drazel. Instead of keeping the balance of light and dark like he used to do, he's gone completely to the dark side. As for Mrs. Okidera, she is in the digital world. Hackmon also mentions that Meikumon is what is known as the Libra, a potentially powerful tool for ruling the digital world. Back in the digital world, the Digidestined are camped for the night when Machinedramon appears. He then fires his trademark Giga Cannon, but instead of hitting them, they are sent to various sections of the digital world. Sora is the only one paired up with her correct Digimon, while the rest are mixed up. Personally, I think it would have been fun if the Digimon mix-up was something that stayed through. Could you imagine that all of a sudden these Digidestined would have to form a bond with a different Digimon just to be able to survive? And then after enough time, perhaps the memory would start to awaken and they'd be like, wait a minute, I mean, I like you, but I get the feeling I'm supposed to be with this one. Biyomon spots Mako, and they travel together in search of the others. Meikumon appears, and is angered that she was left alone in a world that hates her. However, Mako reassures her that she will never be alone again. The reunion is short-lived when the Digimon Emperor appears. He reveals his true form as Dark Genai, and then proceeds to I'm just gonna... Distortion opens up, and the Digidestined unite to take down Genai's bodyguard, Machinedramon. Being only rookies against a Mega, they only stun Machinedramon and seek refuge on an old ship. Part of me would love to think that this is the ship the Numamon drove through the desert. And no, I'm not high. As Dark Genai gives chase upon the back of Machinedramon, he keeps saying that humans and Digimon should never have united. They've ruined everything, but the reboot fixed them. That is, until they came along and corrupted them once again. On board the ship, they are found out pretty quickly. They decide to split up into groups. However, Dark Genai has Metal Seadramon to join the fight. Through a clever hologram, Machinedramon is stunned by a chunk of falling ice, but is still not defeated. He grabs Biyomon, to which Sora jumps in and tries to save her. Instead, she just gets thrashed around and I can just feel each blow in this animation. But Biyomon finally believes that they are partners, and as such, goes to the Mega level, Phoenixmon. Through a re-established bond, Machinedramon, as well as Metal Seadramon, are obliterated. On board the ship, Genai is alone with Mako, where... he does that. He wants the Libra, Meikumon, to digivolve, as she'll be more powerful that way. When Mako refuses, Dark Genai then starts choking her.
That's it, Meikumon. Let the fury burn inside you. Give yourself up to the transformation.
Wow, this sounds familiar.
Use your aggressive feeling, boy. Let the heat flow through you.
It's official. Phantom Menace Obi-Wan has gone to the dark side.
Grow, Digivolve, or your partner dies. Digivolve into your true form, and then destroy this world.
Mako passes out from the choking, which forces Meicoomon to digivolve. That's basically the end of the movie. However, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Miss Okidera did in fact find her Digimon, and just like Sora, Tapirmon wants nothing to do with her. But unlike Sora, now that she has Tapirmon back, she refuses to let him go. So as I mentioned in the beginning, this movie turned out to be a lot better than I remember. Of course, it's still trying to compete with arguably the best entry in the Tri-series thus far, but I'd say this is a good second best. And from my memory, it seemed like very little happened in this one as well, but even that part was also faulty, as there was a fair bit of story that went here as well. Generally, I like this movie. However, part of me feels a little uncomfortable at what Jenai is doing with these kids. I hope you'll join me next time for Coexistence. I guess this is a bit of a theme, so the last one I mentioned like a peanut butter and jelly color scheme. Personally, I just love the shade of pink. Yeah, big deal. A girl that likes pink, but even before I figured that part out about myself, I just had a love for this fuchsia hot pink. Like I could be judged less with it, and well, this was just a fun color in the 80s. However, the interesting thing I want to mention about Coexistence before ending the review is this little leaflet that is inside of Loss. In select theaters, May 10th. I, as well as probably a few other Digimon fans, were just like, what, to be able to see Digimon in the big screen? That hasn't happened since 2001, I believe? And plus, it'd be nice to get a full movie rather than a butchering of 3 all together in one spot. And the other thing that was interesting about this as well is I made a bit of a recap video. For those that wanted to see this movie but hadn't seen anything up to try at this point, or remember vaguely what's happened in season 1s and 2. To me, I just find it nuts to think that I made that video about almost 10 years ago at this point. It's amazing how time flies, as well as what can change in said time. So yes, join me next time for Coexistence.